Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there.
Alright, before I get into this video, I just want to give a big shout out. Alright, guy called Jamie, me and him just done a video together. It's going to be a 4-parter, so the first part's going to go up today. There's his channel on screen. It's called Punch Perfect Boxing. Alright, it's a great channel, does a lot of good work on there. He's had me on, well he will, this should hopefully one of the first videos should be uploaded today. He's also had people like Chris Andre, big up to Chris Andre, had him on. So if you could, go over there, give him a bit of help out, you know, let's help him get up to 500 subs. He's currently in the 430, so let's try and get him up to the 500 mark if we can. Great kid, good boxing knowledge, enjoy his content, very similar to mine. So if you could, go over there, smash the subscribe button and, you know, help him out. Alright, so this week we've got Fight Camp Week 2. Now I done a preview of Fight Camp Week 1. I really only planned on that being a standalone, to be honest with you, because I knew I wouldn't be here to cover it. I knew I wouldn't be here to cover Fight Camp Week 1, so I said I'll just kind of chuck it all into one video and that'd be that. I will be here to cover Fight Camp Week 2, so I'll review some. I'm not going to review all of them, of course, but I'll review about 4 or 5 of these fights when they take place and after they take place. So I kind of thought to myself, I don't really need to do Fight Camp Week 2. I actually enjoy doing the Week 1, so I said I'll do it for this one and I'll do it for the next one as well. This one right here, I guess, like, on paper it is actually not bad. You know, it's not bad. When I done the preview for the first Fight Camp, that still had Conor Benn in the main event. And as is so often the case with me, I do a video when something changes within a day or so, because that happened with Fury Wilder. You know, I done a prediction video and I went to bed that night thinking, I hope this fight doesn't get binned, and it got binned the very next day. Well, it got pushed back, but it basically got binned, you know, because that made that video kind of almost irrelevant, because things are going to change. I'm going to have to do another prediction video on that fight, put it like that. In terms of this card, I hope nothing changes. We're going to talk about the fights. We're going to talk about them all in, you know, a nutshell. We're going to get them all in one video. I'm going to touch on them now. So, first fight I see here listed on BoxRec is by a guy, I'm probably saying this name wrong, but just bear with me. Akbid Fiez. I'm pronouncing that name wrong now. I remember watching him against Keane Baker. Was that was in October? Yeah, I remember that. I think that was on the undercard of Wadley. It was. That was a competitive fight. A lot of people actually felt that Keane Baker might have actually nicked that. That was a real competitive fight. Now he's in there against a guy called Kevin Baladis or something. I'm probably butchering that name as well. Definitely not as good as Baker. His record is 9-5-2, so this should be just a quick run around just to see where he's at. Like that he hasn't fought since Keane Baker. That was in October of last year, so fair gap, like 10 months ago. It doesn't seem like it, but yeah, it's a fair old distance. So that's the first fight. Elly Scotty. Alright, now Elly Scotty, I've seen a few of her fights. I've seen her fight against Connolly. She's actually with Adam Boot, trained by him anyway. And, you know, Connolly's on this card too, actually. But Elly Scotty is only, 23 years old. She was a former GB, you know, amateur, you know, done well as an amateur. As a pro, she actually looked pretty good. You know, she's still, I think, learning the pro game, but they can take their time with her. You see, a lot of times in female boxing, because their divisions they're not big, their divisions. So what I mean by that is there's not many people in them. Like, for example, if you look, she's a super bantamweight. If you go on BoxRec for male super bantamweight, you have about 1,000 fighters, you know, in around that division, maybe more. You go on to a female super bantamweight, I'll just click on Elly Scotty's BoxRec. Worldwide, you have 123 super bantamweights. So you're not going to be able to, that's why they go so quick. You know, you can't just bring people along slowly but surely. With Scotty, she's 23. She doesn't need that much because she had a decent amateur background, but they can take their time with her. In terms of Scotty, she seems a really, really cool kid. You know, she really does. So I'm hoping that, you know, she does good things. Fingers crossed. She seems a cool kid. Move on. We've got Johnny Fisher. He is one of 3 heavyweights on this card. Now, Johnny Fisher is in there with a guy called Danny Whitaker. Now, Danny Whitaker, when I actually looked at this first, I was like, that guy's name rings a bell. He was in Prize Fighter. Well, technically it is Prize Fighter, but it's called Ultimate Boxing. He was knocked out by Webb. He actually got knocked out by David Adelaide I think about a year ago. No, it was November. He was knocked out by Adelaide. Also lost to Chris Healy. That was for the Central Area title back at the start of June. That was on one of those. Was it Mick Hennessy? No, it was on one of those Dennis Hobson shows up in Sheffield. So, not exactly stellar. Johnny Fisher, you would imagine, should get through him without too much stress. I mean, like, anytime he stepped up anywhere kind of like prospect level or above area level, he's been stopped. And stopped early. So you would imagine Johnny Fisher should be able to get rid of him. Ebony Bridges versus Beck Connolly. That's going to be a fun little fight. A bantamweight. I think Bridges, when she fought Shannon Courtney, it was a bantamweight. I thought that was super bantam for some reason. Bridges is a character. She really is. People talk about, female boxers. I see more so females, actually. I've seen a lot of female boxers say about Bridges that some of them anyway, a good few of them, don't like her because, she's not really doing anything. She was a former ring car girl. There's some, people who've been amateur for they can't get this. At the end of the day, what Bridges is doing is she's trying to sell that sport. And she's doing a pretty good job of it. Like, I've got friends who, I've been away with, who know nothing about boxing. Absolutely nothing. They know AJ, Fury, Wilder, Canelo, and that's probably about it. They know Bridges too. So she's getting to the casual audience. And at the end of the day, when people are trying to grow sports, for example, you look at a sport like darts, when that was on its rise back in the 1980s, okay? Well, actually, it started out in the 70s, really, but there was no real characters at the time. Along comes Eric Bristow. Along comes Jockey Wilson. Characters. And they helped to bring that sport along. You look at someone like Bridges, right? Is she the best female fighter in the world? No, she's not. That's just she's not the best. She's not. You're not going to say pound for pound Bridges is one of the best in the world. No, but is she doing her part in terms of selling it? Yeah, she definitely is, and she's going to get eyes on this fight because people know her, And she's in there with Beck Connolly. Beck Connolly is tough, but very limited, extremely limited. So I'd imagine Ebony Bridges will probably stop Beck Connolly, to be honest with you. And then we'll see. I'd say, to be honest, if she gets rid of Beck Connolly early, they'll probably get her back out on the Warrington show because she is a Leeds fan, as far as I'm aware, and that to me just makes sense. Like, if I'm a promoter and I want to get maximum tickets, I want to build subscriptions. See, what they've done with that show was very smart. They have Katie Taylor on that show. Now, some people have said, why did they put her on Warrington versus Lara and not put her on AJ Usyk? Simple reason. The Zone wants subscriptions. You put Katie Taylor on AJ's undercard, you'll get pay-per-view buys from the Irish fans, but you won't get subscriptions to the Zone. But you do it the other way around, you'll get subscriptions. There you go. You see how the promoters think. Again, likewise with Bridges, if they put her on that lead show, I mean, Josh Warrington alone will do the job in terms of selling that. But having Bridges there, the Leeds fans will just flock to it. So, bit of promoter's hat on there. If Eddie Hearn watches my videos, if he ever does, there you go. Have a look at that. You never know. Listen to your boy. He knows what he's talking about. Moving swiftly on from that, Alan Babish versus Mark Bennett. This is seen as a step up for Alan Babish. I do like Alan Babish, I have to say I do. I think that with Alan Babish, I'm on this roller coaster. I'm on the roller coaster with Babish. I love watching him. He's fun. He's entertaining. I just can't help but feel at heavyweight sooner or later, it might not even be anybody amazing. Someone with a bit of height, bit of reach, a decent counterpuncher will give him absolute fits. Saying that, there's been some sparring footage of him with Joe Joyce, and he looked to be alright in that spar. And Joe Joyce is a big, strong, hard-hitting heavyweight with a very good jab. So, maybe there is a bit of hope for Babish there. But if we look at, he fought that Damian Chambers guy. Now, I have to say, that there was moments in, I think it was the second round, where Babish actually did look a bit kind of, I don't want to say in trouble, that's a strong word, but you could tell that it wasn't as straightforward as he imagined it to be. Now, he closed the show clinically, he did, with a left hook, but it was a lot more, we saw Babish look a lot more tricky, or have a bit more of a tricky time in that than we would have seen him in previous fights. I remember it against Winters. Now, I know we got rid of Shondale Winters very early, but you could see Winters' movement, because say what you want to say about Shondale Winters, there's a bit of athleticism still there. And I do wonder about him if he turned pro earlier, how he would have done, because there's athleticism with Winters, and you could see with a bit of movement, very briefly, he was able to kind of make Babish second guess a few things. So, to be fair though, like Mark Bennett's last fight was a loss to Nick Webb in December 2019. That was in a points decision, but it was only over 3 rounds, and that was in the Ultimate Boxer. You know, and before, like, and even then, in the fights he was in, he had a split decision. He had a UD, to be fair, but it wasn't looking devastating. Nick Webb looked pretty devastating in that tournament, so you would imagine Alan Babish should be able to get through Mark Bennett. I would say he will be maybe the toughest. I mean, to be fair, if you're going 3 rounds with Nick Webb hits pretty hard. I'm sure he hits harder than Alan Babish, so maybe able to bring him a few rounds. I would imagine he'd be tougher than, you know, Tom Little, KO Kennedy, and Sean Dale Winters. I'd imagine he'd be tougher than them 3. Damian Chambers, jury's out. We'll need to see. But Bennett, bit of a step up. This is, in my opinion, the fight of the night. This is the fight of the night right here. Fabio Wadley versus Nick Webb. I think this has fireworks written all over it. This is my favourite fight for the night. And with Fabio Wadley, you have someone who, no amateur background, learned his trade in the white collar scene. You know, the white collar scene, I don't discount anyone who, I don't look down on anyone who does that, because I think it actually is a good little way to learn. It's not ideal. You'll never be able to beat proper amateur experience, but I find, and this is something that I've seen myself, some people get into that mold of amateur boxing so much that it becomes almost ingrained in them. So when they do turn over, they have a lot of bad amateur habits, and a lot of them struggle to get rid of that in the pro games. With Wadley, you don't really see that. You see, like, early on, you saw that he was quite fluid, quite fast, had a good jab. I think they went a bit too far with him, and I think in his last 2 performances we saw that. You know, the Molina performance, although he won, you could say if Molina was about 5 years younger, had a bit more fire, that really would have been dangerous. You know, so with Fabio Wadley, he's proved me. I thought the Vallily fight would be a lot harder than it was. So he's looked good in parts. I think that Nick Webb, who after the losses to Dave Allen and Kamil Sokolowski, he really did seem in the wilderness. He went into that Ultimate Boxer tournament. He won that. He won it good. And then he took that short notice fight against Eric Pfeiffer, who I thought Pfeiffer would win, because Pfeiffer came with a good background. Webb had been kind of taking that fight on short notice, was in the wilderness, went in, blasted Eric Pfeiffer out of there, and now he's had a proper chance to prepare for this fight. I'm going to be frank, I think Nick Webb's going to win this fight. I think Nick Webb needs to get to Fabio Wadley early. I think that Nick Webb has flaws, like all fighters do. He has flaws, but one thing you can't say about Nick Webb is that he definitely can punch. Oh, he can punch with the best of them. You know, very, very big puncher, Nick Webb. And I think that he has momentum. He's got confidence. He's got more time to prepare for this fight. I think he's going to do. I think he's going to beat Fabio Wadley. I think he's going to stop him. All right, if I'm wrong, so be it. But my pick on this, Nick Webb to win this fight by a stoppage. I think it's going to be an epic fight. Wouldn't be surprised if both guys touch down in this fight, seriously. Because we've never seen Wadley tested. Never seen him get chin checked. Nick Webb, if he hits him, it's going to hurt. It's going to be interesting. And obviously we go, and it culminates in the main event. Kid Galahad versus Jazza Dickens for the vacant IBF title. Imagine, people, Josh Warrington vacated that title, and now he's rematching Mauricio Lara in a non-title fight. All he had to do was just get this mandatory out of the way, and he could have been fighting Zhu Khan last week for that WBA title. It's amazing what happens when you just decide we'll go in this direction instead of going that direction. What can happen? How things can turn around. Nevertheless, this is a rematch from many years ago. I think Kid Galahad, did he stop? He stopped Jazza Dickens, didn't he? When did he fight Jazza Dickens? He stopped him in 10. I'm going to be frank, I see it being repeat. I think Jazza Dickens has improved. He certainly has. This is his second crack at the world title. He obviously fought Rigondeaux. I remember that. He got his jaw broken by Rigondeaux. Because I remember he took a left hand. I mean, that was on Box Nation. That was actually in the UK. It was on Box Nation, and he took a left hand, and the corner pulled him out, and his face really swelled quite badly. So he's already come up short at world level against Rigondeaux. Against Kid Galahad, he knows what to expect. He's been in there with Kid Galahad before. I think Kid Galahad is going to be a bit too slick. He's going to be just too good a boxer. I think he's going to win this fight on points. I'm going to be frank, lads and lassies. I can't see this fight being entertaining, to be honest. I think that I think it's going to be just a 12-round Kid Galahad workmanlike performance. I mean that in the nicest possible way. I think that's how it's going to be. At the end of the day, he's effective. He might not entertain everyone. He might not be everyone's cup of tea. Kid Galahad does what he does. He's effective. I think he's going to beat James Dickens. Jazza Dickens, I should say. I think he's going to beat him. So that is Fight Camp Week 2, and I have not left anyone out. That is it. So I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Want to know what you think of this card, my predictions, my pick, what I have to say about all the fighters on it, any specific fight you're looking out for. I gotta be frank, the 2 heavyweight fights, well there is 3, but the 2, Babish and Nick Webb versus Fabio Wadley. Fabio Wadley, Nick Webb, it'll be fireworks, I believe. Alan Babish, I'm always looking forward to seeing Alan Babish fight. I do enjoy watching him fight. He is all action, he doesn't care, he goes in for the kill. He's a character as well. Like that's just like Bridges is a character, Alan Babish is a character. Are they the best in their respective divisions? Or are they the best in their respective fields? No. Are they pound for pound? No. Not at the minute anyway. But does that matter? I enjoy watching them. I think they're both great entertainers. And, Babish, for me, he really is he's so fun to watch. He's one of those fighters where, like, it's very rare because most fighters do go in, take a look at someone. He ain't doing that. He's going in, take your head clean off. I really do like Alan Babish. I think if he was to go a stick of cruiserweight, he'll have a lot more success than I think he will a heavyweight. He can go, I think, someone like a Hughie Fury, right, who is kind of, if I say European fringe world, I would pick him over Babish. I just think when he will meet someone who is just a little bit too big, can keep him on the end of a jab, can move a bit, can counterpunch a bit. I think that's going to give him fits. I really do. But I would enjoy Alan Babish, was he's a heavyweight, and was we have him now. Whenever he steps up, and I could be any time, and someone does, beat him, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, he's crap now. I'm still going to enjoy Alan Babish. Still going to enjoy him. He's an entertaining fighter. He's a fun fighter to watch. Him, Nick Webb, Nick Webb and Fabio Wadley. They're the 2 fights I'm most looking forward to. But again, there's some good fighters. We see Johnny Fisher up and coming, as I said, Bridges, Connolly, Kid Galahad, and Elly, Scotty. Shout out to her. So there's some good people on that card. It's a decent little fight camp card at the end of the day. And yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I will probably cover the majority of them fights on Saturday. Probably cover the majority of them anyway. But I'll definitely cover the top 3 I just mentioned. I'll probably cover Bridges as well. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know yours in the comment section below. For now, lads and lasses, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe of course if you haven't already. You know yourself, hashtag GMansRocks, all that good stuff. Yeah. Just hit subscribe. Could have hit it by now, but there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. For now, I'll talk to you. Peace.